Welcome to the after show for episode 93. If this is your first time tuning in to our podcast, this is not the main episode. This is the brave brazos of the main episode, where we talk about random topics of interest.
Yep.
But this episode is a special one.
Yeah.
Because we are going to do our retrospective of 4Minute.
Yep.
If you do not know, maybe you don't check internet sites, maybe you rely on our podcast for news.
Which is not a good idea.
It's not a good idea. We're pretty bad about that.
Yeah.
But we do talk about important news, right? We don't talk about rumors. We don't talk about the teasers of a thing.
Or scandals.
Yeah, or scandals, unless
things like that.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, in case you don't know, 4Minute has disbanded.
Yeah.
Of the 5 members, Hyuna is the only one to have re-signed her contract. The other 4 girls had their contracts end.
Yeah. And they're not going to come back to Cube, do different things. They're going to leave the company altogether.
Yeah. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to go off together or not, if they're going to split up or not. We have no idea. But the whole kind of like BAP version where they all leave their company and they
sign with a
different one, but keep as BAP, that is not going to happen because Hyuna decided to stay.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know why she stayed. We don't know, there are a lot of like rumors and she said. Yeah, I think it's very easy to speculate why Hyuna, of all people, would stay.
Yeah.
But, there is a very prevalent rumor where, I think they polled like Korean experts, music experts, as to why this happened. And they said that, looking at, I guess, sales data or whatever, like a new company had invested a lot of money into Cube Entertainment a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I forgot what their name is. I think IHQ.
Yeah.
Could be making that up. But they viewed 4Minute as a group that wasn't really making them any money.
Yeah.
But Hyuna makes them a lot of money.
So might as well just sign Hyuna.
Yeah. Might as well give only Hyuna a chance to resign. Yeah. So according to those rumors, the other 4 didn't even have a chance to resign.
No.
They were just like, after this contract, you done?
See you later.
Yeah, you guys have no choice. But Hyuna did have a choice, and apparently she has chosen to stay, which is not great. I think also there was some kind of scandally kind of stuff, which was like all of the members, the other 4 members, all unfollowed Hyuna from Instagram and all social media accounts. They took out 4Minute from their name. Yeah. So there probably some bad blood in there.
I mean, it's probably true, these speculations, because before their last single came out, they said whether or not they're going to, keep continuing as 4Minute will largely depend on how well their album does or that single does. And unfortunately, it didn't do as well, I'm guessing, as they thought. Yeah. And so this is kind of like the natural progression of things. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody really expected. I mean, I sure as heck didn't expect them to do a BAP, right, and leave together.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it totally makes sense to me that Hyuna was the only one.
Yeah.
It sucks. Big sucks, right? But it does make total sense to me.
Yeah, that was the prevalent idea for 4Minute for a long time, that, Hyuna was the breadwinner in that group. And unfortunately, we have seen other groups with similar problems like that and similar rumors. Of course, we can't confirm any of them, but it definitely looks and smells like,
money, baby. Yeah. The money. But I do think it's kind of interesting because the last couple of retrospectives we did were for 21.
Yeah.
We did one for Miss A, where the exact opposite happened, which is only one person left. Yeah. And it was the one person that, like, didn't really do much, and was kind of tired of waiting around. Like,
both for 21's case.
Yeah. Well, for both of their case, Miss A's case too.
One person left, right, in Miss A.
Yeah. And then they mirrored their stories very, very similarly, which is
they
didn't have anything to do for many years.
Yeah. But this is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite, actually.
Yeah. Where it's the main person that's staying, the one that does everything kind of stays, and the other 4 girls kind of got pushed aside, which is kind of sad. Look forward to see what they do, but this is going to be kind of our retrospective. It's not like a grand review. It's not like, it is just us kind of looking back at our memories with 4Minute.
Yeah.
And if you're a huge 4Minute fan, this may not be the podcast for you.
Yeah.
We're not super fans of 4Minute.
No.
As Josh likes to say, you may not even call us fans of theirs.
Yeah.
But I definitely have a lot of fond memories of 4Minute.
And there's a good amount of songs that we liked of 4 Minutes, especially during the Brave Brothers era, right?
Brave Brothers.
Brave Brothers. So, yeah, we're just going to talk about the songs that either had some sort of impact on us in our like kind of K-pop journey, or kind of songs we liked, and
or at least have something big to say.
Yeah. And this is just from like a casual fan's perspective, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, 4Minute has way more songs than 21 and Miss A. So Miss A's, we went song by song by song because they didn't have that many songs.
Yeah.
But we are not going to do that. So if we don't talk about your favorite song, we're sorry.
Yeah.
They just were not our favorite songs.
Yeah.
But before we go, kind of hit the main songs. Josh, why don't you kind of talk about your general thoughts of 4Minute, what 4Minute has meant to you?
Okay, so I have been a K-pop fan for, I think, a good amount of time. Not super, super long. But 4Minute has never really been, like, a group that I really, really, really follow. And that, I think, is because, for me, 4Minute doesn't really have a distinct sound that I can, relate with the memory I have of them. When Stephen was asking me, before we started, just compiling our notes for 4Minute, he said, when I say 4Minute, what song do you think of? And honestly, a few songs pop into my head, but it's not like if you say, Girls' Generation, I say G, right?
Yeah, I think most people would say G.
Yeah, when you say, Wonder Girls, Tell Me, right? It's just 4Minute for me has never really had a song that I like equate to what 4Minute is. Yeah, and
they have 4Minute's actually very special, where they have three distinct kind of eras, right? Because they have the very first era, very long era. They have the Shinsadong Tiger era, and a lot of their music sounds the same. And then there's a very big shift to the Brave Brothers era, where everything sounds very Brave Brothers-y. And then they switch to their recent era, which there's no name. Like, we just call the two composers for both of those songs are, what are their names?
Like
So Jae-woo and
Son Young-jin.
But the I guess the more American style era.
Yeah. And, Shin Sa-dong and Brave Brothers and these two guys that we just talked about, they're all composers. And if you are not really keen on Korean composers and things, if you hear Shinsadong Tiger, if you hear Brave Brothers, you can recognize their sound. They definitely have a style, and that pretty much kind of dictated what 4Minute's sound was in that era. So we're gonna go era by era based off of composers.
Yeah. So to follow up on what you're saying, I think everybody individually they have a 4Minute song. You say 4Minute, they think of it.
Yeah.
But I think as a general whole, it's a little up in the air because I think some people came in during the Shinsadong Tiger era, and so they think of one of those songs. And some people, discovered 4Minute during the Brave Sound era, so they think of Brave Sound. And some people discovered them
just recently
in the crazy hate, Drop It Like It's Hot era, and that's what they think of.
Yeah.
But they're very different. Like Miss A was very different song by song, but 4Minute is very different era by era. It's very interesting.
Like, they have groups of songs that are very similar sounding to each other. Yeah. And we're gonna kind of talk about that. But Stephen, before we start, you want to talk about what 4Minute is like in your experience? 4Minute is very similar, I think, to you. But I think you didn't really follow them right away, right? You kind of came in a little bit late. Yeah.
And I... because I was a huge Wonder Girls fan, and Hyuna used to be part of the Wonder Girls, and then she left. Yeah. If you didn't know, I think some people maybe not even know who Wonder Girls are, right? Because they're so kind of irrelevant nowadays. But she used to be part of the Wonder Girls, but she left very early. And so I was interested. I wanted to know what her new thing was, and so
her new thing being 4Minute.
Yeah, being 4Minute. So, Hot Issue and music and stuff. The earlier stuff I was really into, but I did take a general kind of K-pop break. Yeah. At the end of 2010 to around 2012, where I was following a handful of things, but I wasn't really following a lot of things. So we were going back and listening to some of those 4Minute songs during that time, and I'm like, this is maybe the first time I ever heard some of these songs.
But honestly, for me around that time, I think I was the least interested in 4Minute around that time as well. Yeah.
I mean, I also think when I go back and listen to some of the songs, I'm like, I don't know, like these were not great songs.
No.
I know for some people they may be their favorite songs.
That might
of
be
all
your
time.
Jimmy Jam.
Yeah, but for me, we'll talk more specifics later.
Yeah.
But let's just start kind of like with the first era, right? The first era, Shinsadong Tiger. I'm trying to think what else he's done recently. Like he's been a big EXID. One of the reasons EXID has been doing really well is because of Shinsadong Tiger.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's been like he was really big back in this era.
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, but I think recently he hasn't done that much.
Yeah,
besides on EXID.
His sound of kind of songs that he makes are very. I hate to use this word, but it sounds very dated because they do sound like songs from like earlier on K-pop years, and K-pop, the sound of K-pop has been evolving in different ways. And Shinsadong Tiger is one of those composers that are kind of a throwback in terms of style and sound. I think Shinsadong Tiger still are producing songs that are relevant these days, but they do sound a little bit kind of, dare I say, old.
Some of them. I think Shinsadong Tiger is very much like Double Psychic, where like their main songs have a very certain feel, but then like there are some kind of side, because Double Psychic is lots of people,
right?
And I think Shinsadong Tiger is also, it's not just one person.
Okay.
So like for example, like you have the EXID stuff, but they also did we just talked about last podcast
CLC's
No OO, which I was very surprised actually to hear. Shinsadong Tiger,
Pink's Remember.
Fiestar's You're Pitiful.
Yeah.
Dia's Somehow. Like, those are not super songs, but like, A-Pink's Love.
Yeah, A-Pink's Luve.
The worst song in the world, Tiara Sugar Free.
Right. So basically, like, Fiestar and EXID, they are kind of what Shinsadong Tiger sounds like.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, recently.
They do some randos like Dal Shabet's Big Black Baby or
Big baby.
Some Sea Clouds, some Speed, right? But the biggest songs are like maybe the newer A-Pink songs, not the really awesome A-Pink songs, but the newer A-Pink songs and the EXID songs.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's talk about their first song.